questions about Sophocles. There is going to be some questions about this terminology that we have down here. So you do want to make sure we're good with that stuff. Probably beyond just what you may have written down. So what would be some things that we do know? I can't read that. You guys head down. What's some stuff that we know about Sophocles? So.
He's dead.
Well, when did he live? Gia, what's something we know? Okay, so we know that the best guesstimate is that it's 123 plays. We know at least for sure that it's over 120. We think the number is 123. I'm not going to give you a multiple choice question tomorrow where one option would be over 123, another one, or over 120, another option being 123. If you know that he wrote, in the area of 120 plays, you're going to be okay for that. You would be going to the CRC because that would have just come up here to C247. Marissa? Okay, so he's a 24-time champion when it comes to Playwright of the Year.
Mr. King.
Mm-hmm.
I looked up how many plays Sophocles wrote on Google, and it says at least 6.
Well, hold on. When he is doing Playwright of the Year for 24-time champion, who are they honoring?
Everybody.
Where's the specific? Not Apollo. Good guess because of what shows up in the play a lot of times. Ethan?
Oh. Crap, what was his name? I have, Dionysus?
There you go. So this is the god that is being honored at the festival when they are determining who's going to be the champion, the Playwright of the Year, and his 24-time champion. With the 123 or 120 plays, Hayden, of those 120, so he's attributed with that number. We don't have copies of all of those. There are only 7 surviving texts of his plays. So that's probably why you're getting the at least 6, because one of them there's a little bit of doubt by some people think that another playwright wrote one of them. So they're not. They think one of them would be Aeschylus. So they're not 100% sure. But the general number is of those 120 plus 7 are surviving. So that's probably where you're getting that at least 6 coming from. But we know that he wrote more specifically because they do have him marked down as being like a 24-time champion. So. Anything else? Miriam? Okay, so some things that he did that makes the plays a little bit different is, as silly as it seems, he's the first one who would have incorporated a 3rd actor. And there's another thing so far as the setup of the play that he is attributed to having added to it. So the painted sets that we have that the tech crew is expected to kind of work on or whatnot before a play, he's the one who's responsible for adding that. So incorporated 3rd actor, had painted sets, and then also incorporated the larger chorus to have them more of a staple of the play. All right? For any of these structure ones, so going from the Parados to the Exodus, we don't have to go in any particular order. Hannah, what's one of these that you got a definition for? Okay. So opening portion or scene of the play. This is generally the one where the conflict tends to be revealed. Austin, another one? So this is where the entrance of the chorus. How does the chorus give their lines. They're singing them, they're kind of chanting them. So it's the entrance of the chorus, so it's going to be like their first kind of song or chant that would be taking place. And again, we mentioned the idea that you have parade kind of in here. That's the entrance, the line, the parade, so to speak, of the chorus that would be happening. Keep.
I said the scenes between the action and the play.
Okay. So this, yeah, essentially this is going to be the action part or segments of the play. Really, this is the part where you have the plot, for the most part, unfolding. What do the scenes alternate with? Scenes are alternating with odes. So this alternates with scenes. Gia, who's specifically in the odes? Okay, so the chorus, chants, they're essentially like their viewpoints, their ideas, their reactions to what's going on in the play at this point. Remember, the chorus is kind of giving you the every person, every man, almost kind of like a little poll of what's going on. And then the final part we have Exodus. Zach, what do you have for Exodus? Okay, so concluding section of the tragedy, because most of Sophocles' plays were going to be tragedies, and within the Exodus is when you are kind of revealing the moral lesson of the play. So that's going to reveal what the moral lesson is, what it is that you should ultimately be learning from it. Which one happens first? So order this one opening, so we're going to go prologue, then you'd be going parados. These things are going to go back and forth, and then the final one down here would be the Exodus that you have. Tyler, how about for any of these four? What's one definition you have? Oh, sorry, Manfred, and then we'll come back to you. Which one do you want to do? Call it out. You're going to do hubris? All right.
The last one
All right.
is like two characters talking back and forth.
So, two characters, alternate lines in order. How could I finish that off? In order to what? What does that alternating of lines kind of do for him, Keith? Okay, so it kind of like reveals some tension, some suspense, in order to kind of spice it up. So two characters alternate lines in order to create suspense or tension. Who would be two characters where this happens? Like in the play? Tiresias and Oedipus do the Stigomythia? Creon and Oedipus? The messenger and the shepherd do it. You have some parts where you have Rasta and Oedipus are doing it, so it's something that happens a little bit throughout the play where you have that alternating happening. Tyler, you said hubris?
Yeah. Excessive.
Okay, so excessive pride, confidence, arrogance, all of those things would certainly work. You said self-confidence? Okay. For the third one, tragic character, really it should be hero, since that was the term that we were using. What's fate? Okay, so external forces, and in Greek theater and life, that's generally going to be the gods, but external forces predetermining one's life. So it is already kind of mapped out for you. Tragic hero. Got for tragic hero.
I said the
there's a characteristic that could be a positive one, but it plays out too far. Okay, that's gonna be part of it.
Someone that has a fall from greatness.
Okay, so they're in a powerful position. Doesn't mean they have to be king like you have with Oedipus, but there's again that trait that kind of brings them down. So you have an ultimate downfall. You have that fall from greatness, so it ends up not being positive. Doesn't mean that death is automatically going to happen, but certainly there's going to be a change that's not going to be for the good. So a character that experiences a fall from grace or power due to a character flaw. So for Oedipus, that character flaw ends up being his hubris. And I'd say there's another character flaw that he kind of has a little bit that would be involved with hubris. But what other term up there would kind of be part of his flaw? What does he think he has the ability to do because of that hubris or that arrogance?
So they don't have control speed.
He thinks that he can control or these kind of changes things. How to not be determined by it. And you're going to do the same thing. Okay. Any questions about this part? Katie, how about for King Laius down to Creon? One of those characters that you want to give us background for?
Let me see, 'cause I wrote the amount for all of them. Let's see, I'll just do the first one.
Okay, Laius.
Laius is the past king of Thebes that was murdered at the crossroads by Oedipus unknown, who is Oedipus' real father.
Okay, so former king of Thebes,
Mm-hmm.
father to Oedipus, wife to.
Jocasta.
Okay.
Yep.
Right. And then you said unknowingly murdered by Oedipus at the
Yes.
crossroads. Yep. Hold on. Yeah, husband to Jocasta. Unknowingly murdered by Oedipus at the crossroads.
So Oedipus is a murderer too, right?
Good now.
Mr. King.
Yep.
So is Oedipus a murderer anyway? Because he murdered people when he knew, right?
Wait, run the question by me.
I said Oedipus was a murderer, right? Like he knew that he killed people, but he didn't know he killed Laius.
Correct. So, what, and we'll kind of get to this part a little bit later on. Oedipus, because, well, we can do it right now. On the third page, for you it's the third page. Where'd it go? What crimes does Oedipus eventually admit to committing? Really, the first crime is he admits to murdering, I'm just going to go kind of like quotation marks, someone at the crossroads. Because he knows he has done it, he doesn't realize that it would be Oedipus, but he would admit to, yes, being a murderer. Then he realizes that, okay, that someone actually is Laius, at which point realizing then his mandate that this person has to be exiled is going to be him, and then he also eventually admits to, again, not initially, to marrying Jocasta, which of course would be his mother. But the first thing that he would admit to, yeah, would be murdering a person, someone. Now, and there wasn't a question for this, but since we're kind of getting into it, what's the detail that he's kind of holding out hope for that may prove that he is not the one responsible for murdering Laius?
That's not his.
The person that saved, the person that got away,
What about that person?
that they might tell the story differently.
Because according to the people in Thebes, the servant who escaped says that Laius was killed by whom? Multiple people, those highway bandits, and Oedipus is going, wait, I was the only one who killed him, so if we can prove that it was just me, then yes, I killed someone, but at least it's not going to be the murderer of the former king. But yeah, it's not that, would would he be persecuted for having, if he finds out that he just murdered someone that he's not responsible for as with being the king?
I mean, did they say why he murdered them anyway?
Why Oedipus?
Yeah.
I guess he was like angry.
Yeah, he basically says it's almost like road rage. They pushed me off the road and I got upset about it, so ended up murdering them.
What?
Which really, you're talking about character flaws is already going to be one of them already. The sense that, arrogant, hubris enough that it's not the worst thing if I actually have done that, even though it's obviously morally
You get mad.
incorrect. Ethan, did you have something?
Wouldn't he have recognized King Laius? Or wouldn't Laius been dressed differently? Obviously, he was like a higher status than others.
You would think so. And again, I think this is not to kind of use it as the escape clause, but this is that like fact fiction type thing where it is a story that's meant to kind of help with a lesson. Is that a detail that Sophocles was truly worried about? Who knows? But you would think. I mean, we know that he does have his charioteer with him. That he's in a chariot. He's being escorted. So clearly, he's more important than just the average person. But
I think Oedipus
no,
is
we don't know
actually-
anything about him being the king of Thebes when he ultimately gets killed. Since we're talking about Laius, let's kind of skip here to Oedipus. What are things that we know about Oedipus before we go back to Jocasta and Creon? Current king of Thebes. King of Thebes because, and Zach, you already told us this. Why is he king?
Oh man.
Josh, you mind closing the door for us, please? Okay, so current king because he saved Thebes from the Sphinx. How does he save Thebes? Solve the riddle. So what, when it's born, has 4 legs. In the middle of life, the noon of life has 2. And then at the end of life has 3. Ends up being a man. And it also ends up literally being Oedipus because at the end of the play, with him being blind, he has to find his way out of the.
Also, Laius.
Zing.
We just had a
Although,
mic explosion.
Definitely did have him on his
could you also say that maybe Laius tried to escape his own fate too? Because he's the one that received
Oh.
the prophecy that
Oh,
his
definitely.
son
Yeah.
would kill him, and then he threw his son out, but he still ended up being murdered.
Right, no, definitely, because and Jocasta would be with that as well. And Jocasta pretty much is on record as saying, "Don't worry about what the oracle or the prophecy say, because look, here's what happened." Now, with that, since they kind of knew what that fate was, literally, what does Oedipus mean?
Swollen foot.
Swollen ankle, swollen foot. So name means swollen foot.
Why would they name him that? Was it like they took a look at his foot and they were like,
Who would have been responsible for naming him?
the shepherd? Yeah.
Probably going to be Polybus and Merope. So here's the baby with the swollen ankles. Let's call him Oedipus. Which it's certainly it's not a common thing that we're going to go, hey, let's call this person bald head, shaggy hair,
Bald head.
crooked nose. If it were my daughter, big ear. Actually, it'd be big left ear because the left ear is
Bald
larger than
head.
the right.
That would be a nice.
That might be me tonight after I cut my hair. So Oedipus, in his mind, he is from not Thebes, but in his mind, he is from the town of Kingdom of Corinth, and his parents being Polybus and Merope. All right. Jocasta.
Jocasta is the queen of Thebes, first wife to King Laius, then remarried to Oedipus with her son unknowingly, and mother
And unfortunately, what do we need to note about the end of her time in the play, Gia? She hangs herself, so yeah. Gonna go a little quick through some of these. Creon, family relation. Jocasta's brother. So
So, also unknown Oedipus' uncle.
uncle/brother-in-law,
I feel like they all look.
advisor.
Advisor.
Because Creon acts as quote unquote king how many times?
William.
Twice.
Wait, I have a question also.
Well, here, hold on. We'll get to it in a second, Hayden. So he is king after Laius, acting king until Oedipus shows up, and then at the end, he is king after Oedipus ends up being exiled. Hayden, question?
Yeah, did you say before Oedipus and Yocasta had children?
Yes, they have 4.
So those are her.
So technically, she has 5
her
because of
daughters and
Oedipus.
her granddaughters at the same time.
In a weird sort of way.
I was really a sweet homie.
Tiresias, physical characteristic that we would associate with him more so than anything, Gia? Blindness. So blind, but he certainly seems to knows the truth about Oedipus. Tiresias, for the most part, speaks in riddles. That doesn't look like riddles. For the next two, Polybus and Merope, we can put down that they are both the adopted parents of Oedipus. What happens to Polybus? Polybus dies. Who brings the news?
The shepherd.
Not the shepherd. Messenger from Corinth brings the news that he has died, and so therefore that Oedipus should be king. Dies of natural causes. Do these two speak in the play?
Nope.
No. But they are the 2 daughters of Yocasta.
His sisters too. That,
For now, I'm just gonna go with daughters. You're not gonna have like a true false question like,
Do
or
I have
is
to make a
mean
family tree?
no.
Okay.
There's gonna be too many squiggly lines going on here.
Oh.
Now, these 2 together, Corinth messenger and the shepherd. And this is where I know some folks are kind of getting confused. What's the relationship between these 2 as to how they kind of work with one another?
Brother and sister.
Gia, get us started, and then Katie will come over to finish some things up. Okay, so the shepherd basically, gets the baby, finds the baby, finds baby Oedipus, and then gives Oedipus to the messenger, and then it's that messenger that then takes him to Corinth. Katie, do you have another detail about the shepherd?
Well, weren't there like 2 shepherds necessarily or not?
Well, the messenger also was a shepherd at the time that the baby's given to
Got
him.
it. I feel like she kind of covered everything. You guys kind of covered.
I'd say there's one other thing with the shepherd. Marioni?
Oh, he was there.
He's good.
Hayden, thanks, please.
Wouldn't put it past him.
We're getting information here. One more time. Okay, he was the servant to Leia, so the shepherd is present at the time of the original murder.
Alright, I'll go to sleep.
So, Max, head up, please. So, messenger is the same one who's present at the crossroads when the murder takes place, is the same person who then receives the baby and gives it to the messenger from Corinth who's acting as a shepherd of the time. What does the shepherd do when he returns back to Thebes? allow me to get out of here because he recognizes, the assumption would be he recognizes who Oedipus is when he's sitting upon the throne. So the fact that he has multiple,
Does he also realize that?
hold on. He has multiple interactions with Oedipus, and he's the one that also ends up kind of revealing the truth about Oedipus's birth and all that stuff to him at the very end. Hayden, anything else?
Oh, nothing.
Max, who's the Karagas?
Caracas is. I have no clue. Oh, the speaker? Oh, he's the narrator.
Not the narrator.
The voice of the society.
So the speaker, the voice of.
Right. For lack of a better term, I'd describe him more of like an arbitrator.
Yeah, because he's kind of taking that middle road of society, and I'd go specifically the chorus too. So he's one of those members. So the speaker of the chorus. He does tend to be a mediator, kind of take that middle road more often than not. So he's a good person to try to figure out, what's kind of happening here. Thebes, history of plagues. We know we have the Sphinx. What are problems with the current plague that is taking place as the plague opens? What would be like 3 details that we have? Depends on flying. Okay, so crops are dying, livestock is dying, and then you have disease with mothers and the children being born. Make sure you're aware of the different types of blindness that's taking place. By tomorrow, yep. If you have a checklist that you want to give to me, you can do so now. If you want to double check something about your essay with me, we can also do that right now.
I have a pass for 8th period.